knew this.
Yeah.
We are onto something. We just have to
Yeah.
keep going. But if you don't have that naivety or that trust in yourself and that idea, then it's a hard journey going from zero to one.
Hello and welcome to episode 330 of the Rockstar CMO effing marketing podcast, a proud member of the Marketing Podcast Network. It's Saturday the 11th of July. I'm your host, Ian Truscott, managing partner at Velocity B. I'm not a rock star, but I am a 4-time B2B CMO, and I hope you are well and staying as sane as you feel you need to be. The intention with this podcast is to inspire your inner rockstar CMO, and for this week's dose of marketing street knowledge, I'm joined by Thomas Peham, the former CMO of Storyblock and co-founder of Otterly.ai. Sadly, this week there's going to be no Robert as he couldn't make it to the bar due to a last-minute client emergency, so a shorter show this week, but I really hope you enjoy this conversation with Thomas. But first, we need to pay the bar tab. I'll be back in a moment.
We'll be right back. After this word.
We'll be right back.
After this word.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Welcome back, Thomas, to Rockstar CMO. How you doing?
Hi, Ian. I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can you believe it's been over a year since we had you on the show? It was back in episode 260. I think you were about a quarter into founding Otterly. And GEO was a new thing, and we didn't know even what we were going to call it. So how's it going?
Where to start, Ian? Life's been busy. Life's been busy, but good. I mean, I really have if you ask me, was it a year ago? Was it 6 months ago? I really have a hard time, making sense of time in a way. But no, I mean, it's been fun. It's been busy. We've been building Otterly in a fully bootstrapped way. We've grown to 20 people on the team, over 30,000 users on the platform. And just talking about those numbers, to me, it's still mind-boggling because I do know when I left my previous company, I was basically telling my former work colleagues, well, I'm going to start this startup. And if it doesn't turn into anything, I'm going to look for a new job in a year. So a year later, or a bit more than a year later, I don't have to look for a new job. I'm happy in my current job.
You've done a great job. And of course, your history is that we've had you on the show talking about being a CMO because you were the CMO at Storyblock. And this time, I wanted to have a chat to you. And also, last time you were on the show, you were educating us about GEO. So let's move past some of that. But because it's clearly a thing now, most of us, I think, know what it is. So I wanted to talk to you today about being a founder and what that part of that journey that you just talked about there. So if we start at the beginning, you just mentioned you took a leap from a fantastic corporate role. I think Storyblock's still, a great company, right? And the growth that you saw it through was quite incredible as well, didn't you? Well, while you were CMO there. So, and then you decided to step out. So what inspired you to found Otterly in the first place?
Great question, because in one way, I keep saying I never intended to start my own business, to start my own startup in the first place. But I mean, real quick on the background that you also mentioned, as I reflect now, I spent the last 16 or 17 years in marketing. I always worked I started out my career at the agency side. I worked at a digital marketing agency. doing SEO, doing performance marketing. Social media was a hot topic back in 2010 after Facebook been exploding. So I kind of learned the ins and outs of digital marketing at this full service agency. And I got into marketing in the first place because at uni, I was building websites just for fun. And because of that, I got into SEO because when you build websites, one of the next questions back in 2008, 2009 was, how do we rank on Google now? What do we do to get our website up on the Google rankings? So the whole SEO topic stuck with me back then. And this got me basically my first job in marketing. And throughout the next 16 years, I moved on, worked for lots of software, B2B tech companies. And most of them were very driven by inbound marketing, right? HubSpot framed inbound marketing in the mid 2010s. And inbound marketing basically meant doing good content, doing good SEO, right? And that's how you would acquire users to the website, and that's how you would acquire business. And at Storyblock, it was a big part as well, right? At Storyblock, I had about 30 people. I led a 30 people marketing team, and we spent lots of money on Google. Both paid. Every month the budgets would go up, but also organic. We had team members doing content. We had agencies helping us on the SEO side of things. And kind of after ChatGPT launched in November 2022, I was like, this is turning into a new search channel, right? And I haven't thought much further than that at the beginning, but I don't know, somewhere in 2023, the thought stuck with me, and I still remember driving in my car, listening to a podcast, and the podcast was basically talking about ChatGPT becoming the new Google in a way, right? And people as consumers would opt towards ChatGPT. And I still remember that drive because I paused that podcast, I think 3 times and replayed it because it made me, it was one of those aha moments where I was like, yes, it is SEO for ChatGPT. And after that, I started researching. I started digging into this topic while still having a full-time job. So it was really a weekend activity type thing. And I started chatting up my two of my former work colleagues, and the topic, we didn't do anything really for a couple of months, but the topic just stuck with us, and we kept chatting. And at one point we're like, we need to build something, right? We need to do something about it, because all the marketers I would speak to back in 2023, like end of 2023, were telling me, well, Thomas, when I asked them basically, hey, have you thought about your visibility on ChatGPT? Everybody was like, no, we haven't thought about it. No, not at all. Yeah. But it is kind of an interesting thought. So it is kind of interesting that you bring that up. So yeah, long story short, we kind of hacked away a first prototype that we put live on Product Hunt. We got a few hundred users using it, and then suddenly Google came around and did a whole relaunch of their AI experience. Because when we launched, it was still called Search Generative Experiences, and then AI Overviews became a thing in 2024, and we were like, oh man, now our platform doesn't work. It's not supporting AI Overviews. So we were at this inflection moment. Do we shut it down? Do we rebuild it? What do we do? And for a long time, we haven't done anything. And then by end of 2024, we're like, let's do this one more relaunch, right? One more thing. Let's launch it. Let's update our web application. So we did that in November, and suddenly our user count jumped to 1,000 users on the platform. We got covered by TechCrunch right before Christmas. And then we're like, okay, now we're onto something. This is a proper business. We need to go all in. And then, beginning of 2025, we quit our jobs. We went all in. We went full time. We started the company, incorporated, and started hiring in I think March, April 2025 last year. And this is when it really started picking it up.
Nice. I think you've answered my next question, because my next question is going to be that kind of inflection point when it becomes less of a side gig, and then you're like, oh, this is a thing. I know I've got a company now. So did that happen early on, or do you only just feel that now?
I mean, it's always easier to look back and reflect over the moments where it became clear. to be very honest, I think for a long time we were struggling, right? Because we didn't have paying customers, we didn't have pricing right away. We had challenges building and supporting all the different platforms, as I just mentioned. Google released the overviews, then ChatGPT had some major updates, then other engines came around. So there was quite some technical effort needed to hook up all of those platforms. I think we even invested probably in total 30,000 euros ourselves before we even launched, and not even counting our own time, right? And we were kind of, let's do one more month. Let's do one more product iteration to get somewhere, right? And I think there were moments where we're like, maybe this is not going anywhere, right? It's not picking up. But I think we kept being stubborn in a way, and stubborn to build, because we thought, I really believed in this idea. As a marketer, I really knew search is going to change, right? Marketing teams spend so much money on Google, and if ChatGPT, the bet was, if ChatGPT continues to grow, if other AI channels continue to grow, it's a relevant marketing channel. So as a marketer myself, I was like, this is it. This has to be it, right? And I think luckily for us, consumer adoption just went through the roof. End of 2024, ChatGPT also launched web search features, which obviously we as websites care a lot about, to get referenced as a source. And these were all points that helped us get more first users in and first paying customers. And after we got first paying customers, we were like, this is picking up. We need to do more of that.
So it's basically, it's like this. It's like the viability of the product, and you saw the need of the product in the market, but also you can see that prove through the ARR, and you can see the financials coming in. So that was the point at which you kind of went, aha, definitely got something here, and we're not spending our own money anymore. And here we go.
Revenue can solve a lot, right? Revenue. We keep joking. Revenue solves everything, or nearly everything, right? But it gets obviously much easier if especially since we were bootstrapped since the beginning. If revenue comes in, you can start hiring, you can start building out the team, you can start investing in marketing and product and whatnot. So that loop really started there. But I think looking back, we were also very self-critical in a way, right, about us, and I think also sometimes it just helps if you're either very naive, and you just go all in, or if you just trust your instincts, right? Because I did trust my instincts. I knew this. We are onto something. We just have to keep going. But if you don't have that naivety or that trust in yourself and that idea, then it's a hard journey going from 0 to 1.
Yeah, it's a combination, isn't it? You've got to have faith and hope, but also there has to be something smart behind it, right? And I think that the timing was excellent for you guys too, wasn't it? Because you struck just at the point that GEO was getting very hot. So just to continue out on your journey part of it, how are you finding the move from being? I know that Storyblock, when you started, was relatively small. You had a very small team. So it was probably still had that startup feel when you were working with Dominic and stuff. But do you think that now, how was that transition? Because Storyblock was quite a significant business when you moved away, and now you're a co-founder with a much smaller team. How do you find that transition yourself personally?
Yeah. It definitely was a transition. I've never been a CEO or I'm a first-time founder, right? So suddenly you're dealing with all different types of legal topics. How do you even incorporate a company? You're dealing with accounting topics and whatnot. I did have my own freelance business many years ago, but incorporating and starting a proper business is just a different game, right? So obviously that was a big learning curve for me. But generally speaking, I also really enjoyed it. In the sense of, I do consider myself a generalist, right? And I always said that while I built out the marketing function at Storyblock as well, I always said I'm a marketing generalist, right? I think the thing I do excel at is connecting different teams, connecting different dots, connecting different languages, right? So I think that was that was one factor that was needed in the old business, but also is helping me now, right, at Otterly. So, because as a CEO, you're confronted with hiring challenges, product challenges, people topics, sales, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I love it, right? I love jumping in all of those topics. I get pleasure out of that, and I learn a lot for sure doing that as well. But I think that the biggest change probably was at Storyblock. I led a team of 30 people. I was not really involved in day-in operations like executing, I don't know, content or marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
We then started Otterly, and suddenly I was doing everything, right? I was in the live chat, answering live chat messages from customers. I was doing sales. I was writing content. We were publishing websites, whatever it was, really, right?
Yeah.
I got lots of joy out of that in a way, because I'm a builder. I realized at that journey that I'm a builder, and I like to build stuff. I like to
get your
build
hands
stuff
in the marketing again, right? Right, because that's the trouble, isn't it? You rise to become a CMO, and you actually spend very little of your time marketing. You spend a lot more of your time management. The chief and the operation, the chief and the officer bit take over from the marketing bit in the middle. So,
100%.
And you're building your team again, similar to you did at Storyblock, all remote, I believe, right? So,
yes.
And you were talking about being in all the little places. How are you finding that? And what's your secret to having a remote team?
Well, I guess there's no secret. We decided to do it in a remote way for one simple reason. Myself and my two co-founders, we're not in the same place. We're spread across different. I mean, we're not too far from each other, but it's still 2 or 3 hours drive or by train, right? And we're like, where do we even start an office, right? Someone's not gonna be happy, right? Because someone has to commute, or everybody has to commute to the office.
Yeah.
So this thought really sparked the idea, well, why not do it fully remotely anyhow, right? I've been doing that since more than 6 years previously, and my co-founders had experience with that as well. So as a founding team, it was the best and fastest way for us to get started. And the second big benefit that comes with that, it obviously opens up the talent pool so much. If I would look for full stack developers in Vienna, Austria, right, I have a very limited talent pool. We have now developers sitting all the way from Spain, Portugal to I think Germany and Poland, so pretty spread across, right? And I mean, some roles require certain time zones and certain maybe languages or geographies, but especially as a product team, as an engineering team, we don't, right? So we can hire the best people wherever they are, and it's just much faster and easier for us, right? I wouldn't be able to have onboarded, I don't know, 5 developers in a short timeline if I'm just hiring in one city.
It's true. That's true. So back to your marketing, we talked about you having your hands in the marketing dirt again, like you did at the beginning when you were at Storyblock. And you're operating in a very hot category. There's a lot of hype about GEO, as everybody knows. And in the early days, but I imagine that now it's not so hard. The doors are probably opening, but in the early days, you probably need to do some education of what GEO was. And everybody was talking about different terminology. I think you inferred that earlier on in our conversation today. How are you finding that? And what's the marketing motion that you're finding works for you right now?
Yeah, I mean, we are a fully product-led business. So first and foremost, we are not sales-led; we're product-led, right? So our go-to-market funnel is quite simple in the sense of people discover us on the internet, be it on Google, be it on ChatGPT and other places. Word of mouth brand is obviously a big thing for us as well. And give our products a try, and through that product experience, we're gonna convert them to paid customers. With that said, I keep saying that the biggest function, the biggest responsibility that our marketing team now has is education, right? Educating on scale, educating through all different types of formats, be it video, be it content, be it on YouTube, be it on our website, be it. I mean, we want to spread our content everywhere because we believe the education we do ultimately leads to a certain business impact for us. And for sure, timing has been perfect for us when we got started. And although it's a crowded space by now, we're in an extremely good position on our brand, and people basically when you perform some search on ChatGPT, Google, or wherever, most often you're gonna run into us, right, as one of the options, and that's how you're gonna enter our funnel, top of funnel, and we run. I have one colleague now, a second colleague just joined us this week, and their only responsibility is to run GEO experiments, right? To run experiments day in and day out on what works and what doesn't work right now in that industry. Because there's so much, there's still so much hype on LinkedIn, and everybody's claiming to have the secret sauce.
Yeah.
We're going to prove what's work and what not by executing it ourselves, right? Or by teaming up with collaboration partners to run those experiments. And we're going to show that by publishing everything we learn. So our philosophy is that we publish everything we learn. We do that on our blog. We do that in our webinars. And this is what really drives the business at the end of the day. It's that education. It's that thought leadership, call it, that we do.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that actually, because, and also, it's a really good, it's an age-old, really good content marketing strategy, isn't it? To provide the market with information it doesn't have, and you have information both from your customer base of what they're experiencing and the data that you can see in the back end, as well as the experiments that you're creating internally. So it sounds like you're creating like an inbound motion from that education of the market. So is that where it is at the moment with you? Is it mostly inbound, a little bit of outbound, or how's the mix?
We don't do any outbound. It's zero outbound. We might give that a try and experiment in the future, but it's 100% inbound, and it is driven through that education for sure. Obviously, brand. How do you classify brand? Right? I always keep saying it's how do you attribute brand? I mean, is it product? A lot of that is driven through word of mouth. People using the platform, recommending it to others. It is driven by the education we do. It is driven by the events we participate in. It is driven by also we have an ambassador program. We have a community program, right? Where fanboys and fangirls get certain benefits, and we work closely with them on improving the product, but also them sharing their love for Otterly publicly is really helping us. It is all of those puzzle pieces together that is driving our inbound motion right now.
Yeah. I think that generosity is part of your brand, isn't it? That curiosity and generosity. And it separates you from, because I mean, as you mentioned, right, you bootstrap the company, so you got no VC money, so I guess you don't have like a massive marketing budget. And it seems now the big guys are sort of turning their attention towards this space now, finally, aren't they? But it seems like you've got first mover advantage and you're doing well with that. And the referrals and everything. It's quite a good big impact you're making. Is that something that you're conscious of, that you're going to need to start reinvesting back into brand marketing to compete, or is the trajectory still looking pretty good for you?
I mean, I get that question a lot. Like whenever a big player, HubSpot, for example, when they introduced analytics product in the AI space, I got so many messages like, Thomas, what do you think about that? Is that hurting your business? Whatever, right? Yeah. The reality is, whenever one of those big players entered the space, it helped with education, and it helped with attention. So we've been growing faster than ever. Every month we're outperforming our targets, and I don't see how and why that should stop. So every big winner entering the space only has been beneficial for us so far. And I mean, I think maybe there will be a time when the hype is reaching a plateau, and the VC money with some of our competitors might be drying up if the growth rates are not keeping up. Then maybe there's some consolidation happening at some point in the future. But I don't see that right now happening, at least for us, right? And I think that's one of the joyful things on why we also decided to stay bootstrapped, right? Because it's all up in our hands. We're profitable. We are investing the money back into marketing, into product and whatnot. And the more we grow, the more we invest back. And I'm really excited about that, because now I'm getting the chance to add more to the marketing playbook, right? And do all sorts of crazy things there. But the good thing for us is we have it all in our hands, and I think the market is in our favor. And I don't see how.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you're in a brand new category, you can't be in a category of one. You need competitors. You can't be nervous about that. And also, as we've seen in web content management, like you were at Storyblock, there are, as long as you can establish your own little slice of that pie, right? There's enough. There's enough to go round.
100%. And I would always pick a market that is pulling you and pushing you than a market that is stagnating, right? I mean, there's you can have an average brand, an average product in a hyperscale market, and you still can do well, right?
Yeah.
But if you have the same situation in a stagnating market, you're gonna struggle, right? So
exactly. We've talked about that on this show before, where if you're a CMO coming into a new role, you've got to understand not only the momentum of the company, but the momentum of the category. Because if the category momentum's not there, then it's going to be incredibly hard, isn't it? So you've done a good job. You've established a category and then maintained momentum within it.
Yeah, I mean, doing our best, grinding all day long and working hard. I think there's no secret sauce, but if there's, I mean, it is. We try to build what our customers need, right? And I think going back to a comment earlier, it is really fun when you get the chance to build a solution for your own persona group, right? I've been in marketing for so long. I feel those marketers out there, and it's really great. I love it. I love building for them and helping them. And as long as it's kind of fun, we continue with that.
Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't ask the next question because this is such a positive part of it. But we've known each other a long time. And just for people that listen to the show and thinking or going through this journey, is there anything you'd have done differently? I know it might be a bit of an unfair question, but...
Yeah, I mean, there are always things looking back that you can do. I would have done differently. I would have trusted my guts even more, meaning we probably should have committed even earlier, going all in and started with building out the team and hiring. I think we could have saved ourselves 2 to 3 months in the beginning. But this is me optimizing timing, really. I think that's really the main thing. It's always easier to say, hey, we should have done this faster or sooner, and we definitely should have relaunched our product. We had one major product launch in June last year, June 2025. We should have done that already in March or so. But these are things you learn along the way, right? There's no really big fuck up, if you will, in that sense.
But isn't that's a validation, though, isn't it? That you're on that you're onto something that you can go, I wish we'd started this sooner. Because if the opposite was true, it'd be like, oh my God, I should never have started this at all. So that's a brilliant thing. So the last question,
if I might add one nugget to this, Ian, which is, I always tell my team, we're not in the optimization phase, right? We're not in the phase where we're going to optimize the business. We're in a growth phase. We just have to do more things or stop doing other things completely. But I'm not here to optimize the tiny things in my business. We have to make big bets, and there's so much that could be optimized in this business. But we're just pushing on growth.
Nice. Well, with a small team, and that's probably a whole thread that we could cover, is like making those decisions about what you do and what you don't do. So maybe when we come back, we can talk about how you make those decisions. But I'm going to wrap this up with the last question, and it's the inevitable last question. I'm sure you get asked a lot: is what's next then for you guys?
I mean, what's next? More of the same. Building the team, building the product. We have some exciting product features on the roadmap. We just recently opened up our platforms for an API and MCP as well, and it's fascinating to think about how analytics products, and we are an analytics product, if you will, operate in like a headless manner. So I feel kind of set back to the headless CMS world, where basically you operate as a backend CMS, and the front end you're kind of connected to the front end via API. It's the same thing with the API now. So we have customers not only using our web application, but they're doing all sorts of crazy things with the data, connecting it to different systems, content management systems, different front ends. Basically, our goal is to be that invisible analytics layer help marketers do better. And I think the API opened a whole lot up on that. I'm a content geek, as you know. We both have a passion for content management. One of the things we're cooking is a so-called content prediction engine, meaning we're helping you predict how your content would perform even before you hit publish, even before it goes live. So that's one big update coming out pretty soon, which I'm really excited about as a content marketer. But we continuously double down. What our customers need, we're gonna build that, and we're gonna have fun along the way.
All right, mate. Well, if people haven't listened to the show before and heard you on it, when people spin the dial on the interwebs, where are they going to find you, mate?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Thomas Peham, and you can find us at Otterly.ai. This is the place where you can check out our product.
Splendid, and I encourage people to do so. Thank you very much for coming back on the show, Thomas. I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. This was fun.
Cheers, buddy.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you, Thomas. It's well worth following Thomas if you're curious about GEO as this category continues to evolve. He shares a lot of data they're seeing across the industry and from their clients. Well worth a follow. So that's a wrap on episode 330 of the Rockstar CMO effing marketing podcast. Apologies for the short episode this week, but these things happen in near real-time podcasting. But thank you for putting a dime into your podcasting jukebox, selecting our track and jiving along with us. I've been your host, Ian Truscott, and you can find links to our little band and the articles we discussed in the show notes, along with links to our blog, newsletter, and all of our previous episodes at rockstarcmo.com, or follow us and join the conversation on LinkedIn. Next week, I'll be chatting with Jeff about GTM alignment, and Robert will be back in the bar. In the meantime, I'll leave you with this quote inspired by Thomas's journey he just shared from Mark Twain. The secret to getting ahead is getting started.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Heather Eck hosts an amazing show called Your Radiant Spirit. Heather, tell listeners about the show.
What if the colors you're drawn to, the creative urges you ignore, and the quiet intuitive hits you brush off are actually trying to tell you something? Your Radiant Spirit is the podcast that helps you listen and live with greater clarity and purpose.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find and subscribe at heathereck.com/yourradiantspirit, on marketingpodcast.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.